I'll be reading from the book of Psalms, chapters 58 to 60. Bear with me as I try to get through this. Y'all willing? Bear with me. Book of Psalms, chapter 58 to 60. Let me plug this charger in real quick. Book of Psalms, chapter 58 to 60. Verse 1. Would you indeed speak righteousness in silence? Do you judge straightly, you son of men? Verse 2. No, in heart you work unrighteousness. On earth you weigh out the violence of your hands. So in heart, most of us are wicked, like as far as like what we've been exposed to, what we seen that we can't unsee, what we heard that we can't unhear, what we felt that we can't unfeel. Verse 3. The wrong have been estranged from the womb. These who speak lies go astray from birth. From birth. Verse 4 says, their poison is like the poison of a snake, like a deaf cobra that stops its ear. Verse 5 so as not to hear the voice of whisperers or a skilled caster of spells. Caster of spells. Interesting to see in scripture. This is the book of Psalms, by the way, the book of Psalms, chapter 58. And I just read verse 5, where I spotted an interesting verse where it says, you know, someone was casting spells, someone was a caster of spells. In the book of Psalms, chapter 58, verse 5, so as not to hear the voice of whispers or a skilled caster of spells. So basically, you gotta ignore them people. You gotta ignore everyone who say that they know they got the fortune for you. They could tell you your fortune, tell you your horoscope, tell you your future. You have to separate yourself from these kind of folks. 'Cause they're likely speaking to the the wicked realm, speaking to, you know, unclean spirits that we're not to speak to. Verse 6. O Elohim, break their teeth in their mouth. Break out the fangs of the young lions, O Yahuwah. Verse 7. Let them melt, let them vanish as water. Let him aim his arrows that they be cut down. Verse 8. Like a snail which melts away as it moves, like a woman stillborn. Let them not see the sun. Verse 9. Before your pots feel the thorns, whether green or ablaze, he sweeps them away. Verse 10. The righteous rejoice when he has seen the vengeance. He washes his feet in the blood of the wrong. Verse 11, and man says, truly the righteous are rewarded. Truly there is an Elohim judging in the earth. And this is the mind state of the psalmist. You know, this is prior to the mind of Yahusha, the mind of the Messiah. Verse chapter 59, verse 1. Deliver me from my enemies, O Elohim. Set me on high from those who rise up against me. Verse 2. Deliver me from the workers of wickedness and save me from men of blood. Verse 3. For look, they have lain in wait for my life. Mighty men assemble against me for no transgression of sin of mine. O Yahuwah. Verse 4. For no guilt of mine. Verse verse 4. For no guilt of mine. They run and prepare themselves awake to help me and see. I'm sorry. They run and prepare themselves awake to help me and see. Verse 5. And you, Yahuwah, Elohim of hosts, Elohim of Yisrael, awake to punish all the nations. Show no favor to any wicked traitors. Verse 6. They return at evening, they howl like dogs. They return at evening, they howl like a dog, and go around the city. Verse 7. See, the belch out with their they belch out with their mouth. Swords are in their lips. For who is listening? So it's interesting to see the terminology, someone belching. That's interesting. So last chapter we seen casting of spells. Now we're seeing belching. Verse 8. But you, Yahuwah, laugh at them. You mock all the nations. Verse 9. O my strength, I wait for you. For Elohim is my strong tower. Verse 10. My Elohim of loving commitment. Elohim does go, Elohim does go before me. He lets me look upon my enemies. Verse 11. Do not kill them, lest my people forget. Scatter. Do not kill them, lest my people forget. Scatter them by your power and bring them down. O Yahuwah, our shield. Verse 12. The sin of their mouth is the words of their lips, and they are captured in their pride, and for the cursing and lying they utter. Verse 13. Bring them to an end in wrath. Bring them to an end, that they be no more, and let them know that Elohim is ruling in Jacob to the ends of the earth. Verse 14. And at the evening they return, they howl like a dog and go around the city. Verse 15. They wander up and down for food and wine if they are not satisfied. Verse 16. And I sang of your power, and in the morning I sang aloud of your loving commitment. For you have been my strong tower and a refuge in the day of my distress. Verse 17, O my strength, to you I sing praises. For Elohim is my strong tower, my Elohim of loving commitment. Chapter 60, verse 1. O Elohim, you have rejected us. You have broken us. You have been displeased. Turn back to us. Verse 2. You have made the earth tremble. You have broken it. Heal its breaches, for it is shaken. Verse 3. You have let your people see hardship. You have made us drink the wine of trembling. Verse 4. You have given a banner to those who fear you, that it might be lifted up because of the truth. Verse 5. That those you love might be rescued. Save with your right hand and answer me. Verse 6. Elohim has spoken in his set apartness. I exult. I portion out Shechem and measure out the valley of Sukkot. Verse 7. Goliad is mine and Manasseh is mine, and Ephraim is the defense of my head. Yehuda is my inscriber. Moab is my washpot. Over Edom I cast my shoe. Shout loud, O Philistia, because of me. Verse 9. Who would bring me to the strong city? Who shall lead me to Edom? Verse 10. Have not you, O Elohim, rejected us? And you do not go, O Elohim, with our armies? Verse 11. Give us help from distress, for the help of man is nothing. For the help of man is nothing. Verse 12. In Elohim we do mightily, and he treads down our adversaries. That was the book of Psalms, chapter 58, 59, and 60. We'll be moving into the book of Proverbs, chapter 15. Book of Proverbs, chapter 15, verse 1. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up displeasure. So it's hard to be angry with someone that's soft spoken. It's hard to be angry with someone that's, speaking gently and using kind words. It's hard to be angry with someone or be mad with someone like that. This is why this says a soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up displeasure. You continue to be harsh with your words and hard and loud and with your tone, it's it's going to stir up wrath. This is what stirs up wrath. Verse 2. The tongue of the wise makes knowledge good. The tongue of the wise makes knowledge good, but the mouth of fools pour out foolishness. Verse 3. The eyes of Yahuwah are in every place, watching the evil and the good. So the Most High has eyes all over, watching the evil and the good. So whenever you feel like you're getting away with something and no one sees you, the Most High sees you. Most High sees you, and it's no one go unpunished. Like no one goes unpunished. Verse 4: A healing tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness in it, but perverseness in it crushes the spirit. So when you speak in perverseness, corruption, that crushes the spirit. You can feel it. Like some you kind of grieve your spirit if you're not under the influence, if you're not, you know, if you're not on some kind of strong drink or or some intoxication, you're going to grieve the spirit when you hear corruption, when you hear someone being done wrong, something being done wrong, you know. If not, then you really gotta evaluate your how tapped into the ruach, tapped into your spirit you are, because you may be more so tapped into your flesh if you're taking pleasure in corrupt talk and someone getting done wrong. Um, where are we? Verse 7. The lips of the wise scatter knowledge, but the heart of fools is not so. Um, I think I skipped the verse. Sorry, verse 5. A fool despises his father's discipline, but he who heeds reproof is clever. So fools despise the Most High, the Heavenly Father's discipline, which is His instructions, which is His commandments. Fools despise this. Fools despise the instructions of their earthly father. This is what fools do. Anyone who despises, you know, um, self-discipline, self-disciplines, like as far as like self-disciplining themselves, anyone who despises that, the scriptures identify them as a fool. Scripture identifies them as a fool. When you despise discipline, like staying, having self-discipline, Scripture despise you. When you despise self-discipline, self-disciplines, you're described as a fool in the Scripture. You know, like who doesn't want to, you know, uh, do better for themselves, want better for themselves. Uh, who doesn't want to, you know, make right decisions, the best decisions. Anyone who doesn't want to make the best decisions and make better decisions, that's a fool, man. And it's no way around it. It's no sugarcoating it, you know. And you want to separate yourself from being this and people who are, you know, haters of discipline. It says a fool despises his father's discipline, but he who heeds reproof is clever. So reproof is correction. He who heeds correction is clever. Verse 6. The household of the righteous is a great treasure, but in the income of the wrong is trouble. And the income of the wrong is trouble because the wrong is obviously doing what is wrong. They're making their money the wrong way. They're making their income the wrong way. So it's trouble that comes with that wrong. You know, it's trouble that comes with that money. If they're making an income the wrong way, and they're obviously making it the wrong way because they're considered the wrong. This trouble coming. You know, someone looking to looking to rob them. Authorities looking to jail them. The household of the righteous is a great treasure. So the household of the righteous is the household who does the commandments. A household who does the commandments is a great treasure. But in the income of the wrong is trouble. Verse 7, the lips of the wise scatter knowledge, but the heart of fools is not so. Lips of the wise scatter knowledge, shares knowledge, you know, want people to know better, want people to be to have the knowledge to do better. So this is what the wise do is scatter knowledge. But the heart of fools is not so. Verse 8, the slaughtering of the wrong ones is an abomination to Yahuwah, but the prayer of the straight is his delight. The prayer of the straight. The prayer of the straight is those who are on the straight and narrow path. The straight and narrow path of doing what is instructed, doing the commands. It's not overthinking it and trying to, be perfect. And the flesh can never be perfect. The flesh, as long as you're in these flesh, as long as you're in these bodies, it can't perfect these bodies. Then they weren't made to be, you know, uncorruptible. Like they've been corrupt since birth. So the best thing you could do is rule over it and avoid, you know, giving in to the flesh. The flesh gonna want to do this. The flesh gonna wants to say this. The flesh gonna wants to go this place and be with this person and do this with this person. Like that's what the flesh wants to do. Best we could do is rule over it and stop it from doing it, stopping it from saying it, stop it from, you know, reacting. Slaughtering of the wrong ones is an abomination to Yahweh, but the prayer of the straight is his delight. So the prayer of the straight is the prayer of those who, do their best to, keep their head on straight. Those who do their best to keep their head on straight, you know. The flesh is going to want it all. The flesh wants to crash out, man. The flesh wants to, you know, go and get it, go and see it, go and feel it, go and hear it. That's what the flesh wants to do. It's the spirit job to deny the flesh of all of that. It's the spirit's job to, deprive the flesh of all of that. It's the spirit's job to deprive the flesh, starve the flesh. Now it's like you could treat yourself to, you can entertain the flesh in a way that it's not harming anyone or bringing harm to anyone or bringing harm to yourself. There's a very it's very it's a number of things you can do to because the flesh is bored, the flesh gets bored. It's a number of things you can do to please the flesh without without disobeying the commands, and without, you know, uh being unclean and doing wickedness and doing evil. Best we could do is eat, drink, and enjoy the fruits of our labor and share these teachings of the teacher. Share these teachings of the Messiah. Where were we? Chapter 15 of Proverbs, verse 8. Oh yeah, verse 9. The way of the wrong one is an abomination to Yahuwah, but he loves him who pursues righteousness. So one who pursues righteousness is one who, pursues to do the commandments. That's one who's in pursuit of righteousness. But the way of the wrong one is an abomination to Yah. Verse 10. Discipline is grievous to him who forsakes the way. He who hates reproof dies. So when you hate correction, eventually you're going to, you're going to be destroyed. When you hate correction, you're going to eventually be destroyed. So it says discipline is grievous to him who forsakes the way. So when someone has forsaken the way, it's grievous to discipline themselves. The thought of even disciplining themselves, stopping themselves from doing wickedness, stopping themselves from doing evil. The thought of it is grievous. The thought of it is grievous. Verse 11. Sheol and destruction are before Yahuwah. How much more the hearts of the sons of men? Sheol, meaning the grave, and destructions are before Yahuwah. How much more the hearts of the sons of men? The hearts of us all are no different from the grave and destruction. They're like people. We gotta understand how corrupt our hearts are, corrupt our flesh are. Verse 12: A scoffer does not love his reprover, nor does he go to the wise. A scoffer is one who mocks others. So one who mocks others does not love someone that's trying to correct them, nor does he go to the wise. People who make fun of others, they avoid wise people. They avoid people who are, who have sense. They don't want to. They don't want to hear anyone speaking some sense. They want to hear nonsense. People who make fun of others want to hear nonsense all day because all they do is speak nonsense all day. So one who speaks nonsense all day, they don't want to hear you speaking any sense, something that makes sense. They avoid people that make sense. They avoid people that try to talk sense into them. They stay away from these people. Verse 13, a glad heart makes good a face, but by sorrow of heart the spirit is stricken. A glad heart, a glad heart makes good a face. When you're in a good mood, man, it shows in it shows in your body language, it shows in your face. When you're in a good mood, Shabbat Shalom. Today is Shabbat. Today is the Sabbath. And we're speaking from what we're reading, the book of Proverbs, chapter 15, verse 13. A glad heart makes a good face, but by sorrow of heart, the spirit is stricken. So sorrow of heart is, yeah, you're down. When you when you have a sorrow heart, like when you may have lost a loved one or lost a lover, you lost something, you lost some money, you lost your job, or you lost a friend, you lost your pet, you know, you find your heart in sorrow, and it's like your spirit can be down, and it's like, man, not many can not many can bear that. Verse 14, the heart of the understanding one seeks knowledge. The heart of the understanding one seeks knowledge, but the mouth of fools feed on folly. So the heart of the understanding one seeks knowledge. They're going to go seek knowledge. They're going to look for spiritual knowledge. They're going to seek it out. They're going to read these proverbs. They're going to read these psalms. They're going to read the Ecclesiastes. They want to seek this knowledge out. But on the other hand, the mouth of fools feed on folly. The mouth of fools feed on foolishness. They want to hear what is foolish. They want to hear foolish things. They want to hear. They want to laugh. They want to laugh at people. They want to laugh and mock people. Verse 15. All the days of the afflicted are evil. All the days of the afflicted are evil. Excuse me. All the days of the afflicted are evil, but the gladness of heart is in a continual feast. Verse 16. Better is a little with the fear of Yahweh than great treasure with trouble. So better is a little when you hate evil. Better is a little when you hate evil. Better is a little hating evil than great treasure with trouble. Because if you're not hating evil, you're loving evil. And with loving evil comes trouble. With loving evil comes trouble. When you're hating evil, it's better to have what you need, to have little, to be content when you hate an evil. You can't go wrong when you're hating evil. You're in a good position. You're in a good position. You're in a good place when you're hating evil. You're in the best place when you're hating evil. You're exactly where you need to be when you're hating evil. Hating the evil in yourself, depriving your flesh of, carrying out this evil. You're in a great place. You're in a great place. But, on the other hand, great treasure, it says, basically if you got great treasure with trouble, that means you're likely loving evil. Because trouble comes to those who love evil. Trouble comes to those who love evil. Remember that. When you're hating evil, not a care in the world. Trouble only shows up when you're loving the evil. Verse 17, better is a meal of vegetables where love is than a fattened calf with hatred. Better is a meal of vegetables where love is than a fatted calf where hatred. Verse 18, a man of wrath stirs up strife, but he who is patient appeases strife. A man of wrath stirs up strife, but he who is patient appeases strife. Excuse me. Verse 19, the way of the lazy one is like the hedge of thorns, but the way of the straight is a highway. Verse 20, a wise son makes a father glad, but a foolish man despises his mother. A wise son makes a father glad, but a foolish man despises his mother. Gotta be a fool to despise your mother. Sometimes I've been foolish, to be, um, impatient with my mother and in disagreement with my mother, which can very well count as despising, and that was foolish. Flesh is foolish, man. You know, you have to identify it and know win it to full and call it out. Verse 21, folly is joy to one lacking heart, but a man of understanding walks straight. So foolishness is joy to one lacking heart. Lacking heart is basically lacking the spiritual knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That's lacking heart. But a man of understanding walks straight. Verse 22, without counsel, plans go wrong, but by great counselors they are established. Verse 23, a man has joy by the answer of his mouth. And how good is a word spoken in its season? How good is a word spoken in its season? When a word is spoken at the right time, when someone is telling you what you need to hear at the right time, when someone is telling you what you needed to hear at the right time, that's a special, that's a special experience. It says a man has joy by the answer of his mouth, and how good is a word spoken in its season, meaning, a word spoken at the right time. Someone telling you something at the right time, telling you what you need to hear. It might be some valuable information, might be a compliment, might be, you know, words of encouragement, support, uplifting. Verse 24, the path of life is upward for the wise, to turn away from the Sheol below. Here we go, another indication of, what the process and where in the destination of, where the path of life leads to. It says the path of life is upward for the wise, for the spiritually wise, to turn away from Sheol below. The grave is obviously below. Verse 25, Yahuwah tears down the house of the proud, and he sets up the boundary of the widow. Yahuwah tears down the house of the proud. Those who are proud in their nationality, to where as though they let it trump all things, it trump all love and trump, you know, forgiveness and trump all of what was taught by the Messiah, the only begotten Son of God. Verse 25, Yahuwah tears down the house of the proud, and he sets up boundaries of the widow. Verse 26, evil thoughts are an abomination to Yahuwah, but pleasant words are clean. Evil thoughts is an abomination to the Most High, but pleasant words are clean. Pleasant words are clean. Excuse me. Verse 27, he who is greedy for gain troubles his own house, but he who hates bribes live. He who hates bribes live. So you got to get to a point that where we hate a bribe. We hate the thought of even being given a bribe. Verse 28, the heart of the righteous ponders how to answer, but the mouth of the wrong pours out evil. The mouth of the wrong pours out evil. Verse 29, Yahuwah is far from the wrong ones, but he hears the prayer of the righteous. He hears the prayer of the righteous. He's far from the wrong ones, but he hears the prayer of the righteous. Verse 30, the light of the eyes rejoice. The light of the eyes rejoices the heart. A good report gives marrow to the bones. A good report gives marrow to the bones. See how words have their benefits? But he who listens to reproof is so, I'm sorry, verse 32. He who ignores discipline hates himself, but he who listens to reproof gets understanding. He who ignores discipline hates themselves, but he who listens to reproof gets understanding. Big separation, big difference. He who ignores discipline hates himself. This is too many people today ignoring discipline. Verse 33. The fear of Yahuwah is the discipline of wisdom, and before esteem is humility. Before esteem, you have to be humble. Before being esteemed, you have to humble yourself. Before being esteemed, that completes the chapters of Proverbs chapter 15. Let's move into the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 5. Book of Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 1. Guard your steps when you go to the house of Elohim. Verse, verse, this is the book of Ecclesiastes, by the way. Verse 5, verse 1. Chapter 5, verse 1. Chapter 5, verse 1 of Ecclesiastes. Guard your steps when you go to the house of Elohim. Guard them. Make sure you're not spoken out of your game, spoken out of obedience. Nothing. Make sure you're doing, what's according to the laws of the Most High. It says, guard your steps when you go to the house of Elohim, and draw near to listen, rather than to give the slaughter of food. So when you enter the presence of the Most High, like in the safety of, in the comfort of your own home, in the privacy of your own home, it says, listen then to give slaughtering. So basically, listen before you go and give an offering or give prayer. Listen. Verse 2. Do not be hasty with your mouth, and let not your heart hurry to bring forth a word before Elohim. So it's saying to us not to be in a rush, you know, to speak, not to be in a rush to say a whole lot of nothing. It says, and let not your heart hurry to bring forth a word before Elohim. For Elohim is in the heavens and you on earth. Therefore, at your words be therefore let your words be few. Verse 3, for a dream comes through the greatness of the task, and voice, a fool's voice is known by his many words. Fool's voice is known by his many words. Is like when someone starts speaking a lot, talking a lot, will eventually expose themselves. Verse 4, when you make a vow to Elohim, do not delay to pay it, for he takes no pleasure in fools. Pray that which you have vowed. Verse 5, this is better not to know than to vow and pay. I'm sorry. It is better not to vow than to vow and not pay. Verse 6, do not allow your mouth to cause your flesh to sin. Do not allow your mouth to cause your flesh to sin. Do not allow your mouth to cause your flesh to sin. Nor say before the messenger of Elohim that it was a mistake. Why shall Elohim be rough at your voice and destroy the work of your hand? Chapter 5 still, verse 8. If you see the oppression of the poor and denial of right ruling and righteousness in province, do not be assassinated as the matter. I'm sorry. I'm going to read that over again. If you see the oppression of the poor and denial of right ruling and righteousness in the province, do not be astonished at the matter, for a higher than the high is guarding, and there are higher ones over them. So don't be astonished at you when you hear people in the headlines and the news and the social media and all and whatever you're getting your news from. Don't be astonished by people being done wrong or no justice being served or whatever. Trust that there's a higher than they, someone they have to answer to. It's not, you can't target this one person and say they're responsible. No, they answer to the unseen. They answer to the unseen, the people who want to remain unseen, and people who and entities that are literally unseen, like the unclean spirit and the enemy. Verse 9, and the increase of the land is for all. The sovereign himself is served from the field. Verse 10, he who loves silver is not satisfied with silver, nor he who loves wealth and increase, that too is futile. So he who loves silver is not satisfied with silver, can't get enough of it, nor he who loves wealth and increase, that too is futile. Verse 11. With the increase of goods, there is increase of those consuming them. What advantage then is there to their owners but to look on? This is really the basics of life. Like, what are you going to do when it says, so it says, sweet is the sleep of the laborer, whether he eats it little or much. But the plenty of the rich does not let him sleep. So this is when you have so much money to worry about, it's hard to sleep. Verse 13, there is a sickly evil I have seen under the sun, riches kept for their owner for this evil. Verse 14, but those riches perish though evil uses, and he brings forth a son, and there is naught in his hand. Verse 15, and he came naked from his mother's womb, so he returns to go as he came from his labor, which goes into the hands, he takes none whatsoever. Verse 16, and this too is a grievous evil. Exactly and this too is a grievous evil. Exactly as he came, so he goes. And what gain has he since he he trod for wind? He toiled for wind. And what gain has he since he toiled for wind? Verse 17, all the days he also eats in darkness, and with much sorrow and sickness and wrath. Verse 18, see what I have seen. It is good and beautiful for one to eat and drink, and to eat and drink, and to enjoy the good of all his labor. This is really what Solomon came away with. His conclusion with all of it was that, see what I have seen. It is good and beautiful for one to eat and drink. Those are the pinnacle pleasures of the world, which are, you know, wholesome and pure and clean. And so that's why he's describing it as beautiful. So, because what better can you do? See what I have seen. It is good and beautiful, good and beautiful for one to eat and drink, and to enjoy the good of all his labor in which he toils under the sun all the days of his life, which Elohim gives himself, for it is his portion. Verse 19, further, when Elohim has given any man riches and wealth and permitted him enjoy them and to receive his portion. Let me read that again. Further, when Elohim has given any man in wealth and permitted him to enjoy them and to receive his portion and rejoice in the labor, this is a gift of Elohim. Verse 6, though it not be much, let him remember the days of his life, because Elohim bears witness by the gladness of his heart. The gladness of his heart. Keep this heart glad, man. Treat yourself to a meal, good meals. Treat yourself to good meals. Drink drink good beverage as far as like what's natural and healthy for you. Uh, laugh as much as you can laugh with the fruits of your labor. Find joy as much as you can find joy with the fruits of your labor, and try to do this the best. Try to do this best without being wicked, doing wicked, doing evil, treating people wicked or treating people evil. We just completed the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 5. That was the reading for tonight. That was the Shabbat reading for the night. I'm going to be getting into more Shabbat readings tomorrow, y'all willing. Starting in the book of Genesis, no, starting in the book of is it Exodus? Yeah, I believe it is Exodus. And then I'm gonna be getting in the book of Jeremiah, getting back into the book of Jeremiah. But until then, I'm gonna bless us out according to the blessing that was given to Moses to bless the people in the book of Numbers, chapter 6, verse 23 to 26. Receive your blessing. May Yahuwah bless you, Barak you. May Yahuwah guard you. May Yahuwah make his face shine upon you, show favor to you. May Yahuwah lift up his voice. May Yahuwah lift up his face upon you and give you peace. Till next time, till tomorrow, may Yah willing you be able to show up. Peace, love, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, love and peace.